Start off by finding your vanishing point. This is your SP, or your standing point. From this point, project a line directly up onto your horizon line. Where this line intersects your horizon line, this point is now your vanishing point. We'll now start off by drawing the bottom part of the base which touches the picture plane. If we project this base onto the ground line and then its height across from the one view we have to the side, this then creates the base which touches the picture plane. We'll then draw this part in dark, indicated by the blue. I have now added labels to the base. You can see that the line AB touches the picture plane and is thus represented by the blue part that we've already drawn. We now need to find line DC. Line DC is the back of our rectangle. We will have to find line DC using the projection of line AB in the direction of our horizon line. I have now projected point A up to my vanishing point. This line A over here now represents the line A here in my top view. But this line A over here has an endpoint, point D. We now have to find point D somewhere here on line A. To do this, we project point D down to our SP, or standing point. But remember, we do not want to draw a line all the way down to the standing point, as it will start to get in the way of the rest of our drawing. So, as we're drawing the line, instead of drawing it all the way to the standing point, we stop when we reach the intersection point with the picture plane. Where this line hits the picture plane, we project a line directly down onto the line A we have drawn in the front view. Where these two lines intersect, this is now the end point of line A, or, in other words, point D. There is now another point D just below the point D we have found. To find this point D, we again project point A, the one below the first point A we projected, up to our vanishing point. Then, where this point A intersects with the end point D, this now gives us our second point D, which then forms the side of our rectangle. Now we have to find point C, and in the same way as we found point A, point D, we are now going to project point B to our vanishing point. Once we have done this, again we are going to project point C down to our standing point. And once again, we make sure that we stop this line when it intersects with the picture plane. Otherwise, our lines are going to get a little messy. From this point, we project directly down onto our front view, and where this line intersects line B, this is now point C. Point C can now be joined up to point D, the top point D, the same way it is in the top view. That will now complete the top part of our rectangle. At this point, we do not go and draw in line AD, BC, CD, or the bottom AD in dark, because we do not yet know what parts of those lines we'll see. We now have to first of all go and find out where this part, namely our top rectangle, is going to be in our drawing. Only once we have found it, which will be round about over here, will we be able to know what parts of the base we will actually see. Now I have added in labels for the top rectangle as well, number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're going to start off with find this rectangle exactly the same way we did the first one, A, B, D, and C. For this one, we're again going to project the first 2 points, point 1 and 2, directly down into our view. Then we're going to also project the height line across from the side view which we've been given. Now, if you take a look at these 3 lines that we've drawn, that one over there, there, and there. Is this rectangle on the picture plane in our top view? No, it's not. Point 1 and 2 is slightly behind the picture plane. It sits over there, behind the picture plane. That means that this part that we've drawn in here is not the actual position of point 1 and 2. Point 1 and 2 is somewhere further back. So we have to find out where point 1 and 2 is. For that, we do the following. We take point 1 and project it up to our vanishing point. Then we take the point 1 in our top view, same as what we did with point A, and project it in the direction of our standing point. Again, make sure that you stop this line as it hits the picture plane. From this point, you project again directly down until the line intersects with the line which represents point 1. Where these two intersect, this is now the actual starting point of point 1. We now follow the same process to find the starting point of point 2. Again, project point 2 up onto the vanishing point. Then, point 2 in the top view, we project in the direction of our SP till it hits the picture plane. From this intersection point, we project straight down till it intersects the line that is represented by point 2. This point is now the actual starting point of point 2. You can now join point 1 and point 2 together to form the line 1, 2 in our 1-point perspective view. Now we will again follow the same process to find point 3 and point 4. Starting with point 4, we'll project point 4 in the direction of our SP till it touches the picture plane. This point we will project directly down onto the line which represents line 1. Line 1 has an endpoint. Its endpoint is point 4. Where these two lines intersect, this is now our point 4. Again, we do that for point 3 as well. Project it in the direction of our standing point till it hits the picture plane. From this point, project a line directly down. Where it hits the line, which represents point 2, this point will be our point 3. These 2 points can now be joined to form the line 3, 4. Now we will follow the same process to find points 1, 2, 3, and 4 on top of the base rectangle that we already have. For point 1, we are going to project the line which we projected straight down for point 1 in the direction of our vanishing point. Where this intersects the line we projected down to find the end point of point 1, this is now our point 1 directly below the top point 1 we've already found. We will do the same for point 2. These 2 points can now be joined to form the bottom line 1, 2. We will then find that it is quite easy to find points 4 and point 3. They are directly below the point 4 and point 3 we've already found, but on the lines we have just projected. These 2 can also be joined to form the bottom line 4, 3. Now it's time for us to go and decide which ones of these lines we are actually going to be able to see in our 1-point perspective view. The lines that we are able to see, we will now have to go and draw in dark. We will be able to see the side of the base. So we draw that in dark. We will be able to see the top part of the middle rectangle. So we can draw that in dark. We'll be able to see the front part of that rectangle as well. We'll also be able to see the left-hand side. All of that gets drawn in dark. Then you will quickly see that you will only be able to see one part of the line BC on the top right-hand side of our base rectangle. So we only draw in that part that we'll be able to see. The same thing with the back line DC. Only that little piece we'll be able to see. Now we have completed all of the dark lines and completed our 1-point perspective. If I now go and turn off my construction lines, you'll be able to see the complete 1-point perspective you have now drawn. Please remember that for these drawings, you do not ever rub out any of your construction lines. They are meant to be there so that we can see whether you have made any mistakes or not. Well done if you have completed your drawing and it looks like mine. One last thing to note, you will not have to go and draw in numbers the way that I have every single time you do a 2-point or 2-point perspective. These are simply being done for this first explanation to show you how things work. You are welcome to draw them in for starters, but eventually you will have to get to the point where you are able to follow each of your points without the numbering.